A Light in the Darkness Chapter 44, Fan Fiction by Azazyel. Upon the weary vessel of the Iyanden's craftworld ship, Spiritseer Iyanna Arienal stared into the surrounding walls of the Webway tunnel the craftworld was traveling through with naught but tired acceptance. The day that demons would gleefully lead the damned Mon-keigh to her people to slaughter them for their leading a demon invasion upon their worlds has arrived, and the karma was paying dividends. For not only was this Webway tunnel infested with demons of all types and shapes, but with the demon Prince Mon-keigh chasing them directly through the Webway, the craftworld was forced into needing to dip out of the Webway, and each time they did so someone always landed directly in front of the Ultramarine punitive expedition that was hunting them in both the warp and in real space. Because with the craftworld's fire of creation being extinguished, no brave soul could call upon the might of Kain or any other dregs of the Assyrian pantheon to truly kill or even merely banish the foul demons as they stalked them. Truly, the Iyanden craftworld was a disgrace to the Eldar people as it was filled and operated more by ghosts than the very living. Have the volunteers for the expedition been decided to go pick up that sister and retrieve the materials she mentioned? Iyanna spoke softly as she continued to stare into the demon-infested Webway they were traveling through. From behind her, crouched respectfully on their knees were 3 Iyanden guardians fully kitted out in their war gear and painted in the gold and blue of the Iyanden world runes colors. The guardian, kneeling closer to Iyanden, spoke clearly as he stared at the floor in respect to the seer who was leading their people, both the living and the dead. Spiritseer, we 3 have volunteered, and with Arya being an operator for a Wraith Knight, we believe such firepower to be sufficient to safeguard ourselves. With the Wraith Knight itself being kitted with gravity-based weaponry that we can use it to do preliminary mining to retrieve samples of the ore for testing. The leader explained. For a moment, Iyanna remained silent as her mind was filled with her ultimate plan to help revive Iyanden, the Eldar god of the dead. And to do so, she was planning on every single soul within the Iyanden craftworld's infinity circuit would be fed to the death god's gullet to spark his consciousness to life. So, possibly wasting her soldiers' lives outside the craftworld, to say nothing of possibly losing a talented Wraith Knight that should be defending the remains of this fleeing haunted ship, left a bad taste in her mouth. But the new material could possibly be used to help the craftworld in pushing off the Immaterium's attention upon them should the news prove true, which would allow them to avoid the chase of the Mon-keigh and start attempting to punish them for leading the Black Legion to their planet of Makridge. Very well. Go with my blessing, return our lost sister, and bring samples of the materials. Should they prove fruitful, we will loop around the system in which the planet she found the materials will be shattered and further processed within the craftworld. We will be hiding within the Webway for quite a while, so expect communication will be difficult. The Spiritseer spoke as she looked upon the looms of fate, and although hiding within the Webway would lead dozens of living Eldar to their deaths by demons breaking through the craftworld shielding, but she saw thousands die in the wake of the Ultramarine's frenzied attack. Who knew leading Abaddon the Despoiler's greatest supporters onto the Ultramarine's home world and allowing them to attack the gene seed banks and even the statue holding the previously dead form of the pre-March robot Guilliman was going to lead to such a mess? Truly, the Eldar have fallen into the shadows if she couldn't see such lines in the weave of fate for her people. The leader of the scout group clasped their hand to their chest and bowed to Spiritseer Iyanna Arienal as he, with 2 female Eldar, one being the Wraith Knight controller, left the control bridge. But Iyanna, she never stopped looking out into the Webway as she sought a way out for her people. But for Iyanna, all she could see as was with her embrace of using Wraith construct and giving the ghosts that haunted a chance to fight for the living, all she could see was embracing death in the name of the death god Iyanden, that would bring true peace to her people. The collective wise man of humanity stirred upon his golden throne, and the unblinking ever-watching custodes that gazed upon his every second of existence with exaggerated care blinked. In that moment, when the greatest soldiers of humanity blinked, shadows formed within the throne room before being banished with a horrific shriek as the God Emperor of mankind glowed with a golden light. Silently, the dozens of custodes within the throne room kneeled in supplication to their Creator, Father, and Ruler as they awaited the decrepit corpse to psychically speak to them, and their eyes widened in shocked silence at the sight that instead greeted them. No amount of training, no amount of dreaming, and no amount of hope or faith could prepare them for what they saw. A single wisp, no, a single tiny candle's flame floated in front of the God Emperor of mankind, and coming from all directions towards that candle's flame was the pure energy of humanity's infinite faith that fueled the candle-sized flame into a raging bonfire. Even with the custodes' transhuman senses, they couldn't see or sense anything through the thick blaze of golden flames, but before they could call upon the legion of Adeptus Mechanicus, that sole job was to watch over the God Emperor. A powerful, unmistakable psychic presence filled the throne room. "Tell all to pray for me. Tell all to send me their energies. Tell all to kill their unwanted in my name." The God Emperor's voice spoke to them, and for a split moment the custodes blanched at the so uncustomary order, but knowing it wasn't some foul trick of a demon, they silently nodded as they went about their given task. 10 hours later, and with untold billions dead as the ecclesiarchy took his demand too far, the inferno of golden flames that filled the throne room and beyond, preventing all from entering, abruptly faded and were snuffed out. "Come, my children." A voice smooth as velvet yet as unyielding as the armor of the custodes rang out, and the custodes and companions of the emperor, along with Sisters of Silence, marched into the ornate, massive throne room. And sitting with his hands lying on the arms of his throne was the very emperor of mankind, no longer a decrepit corpse but made whole, with his eyes glowing with fiery golden light.